happens in your brain when you make a decision? How can you make better ones? From choosing a cereal to finding a flight path to safety, science writer Jonah Lehrer tackles decision-making small and large in his book, How We Decide.
And whenever you make a decision, there's this argument taking place inside your head. And sometimes the argument is between rational areas like the prefrontal cortex and between areas like the amygdala or nucleus accumbens, areas that generate these powerful emotions. And so the key in terms of making the right decision is figuring out how to reconcile this argument, which side you should listen to.
Neuroscience shows that successfully choosing a cereal might use the more emotional areas of the brain. But what about life and death decisions?
So there's also a tug-of-war, an emotional argument taking place when we have to make very stressful situations. It's hard to imagine a more stressful situation than being in a cockpit when you lose total engine power over New York City.
70.
This is Cactus 1539. Hit birds, so you're lost thrust on both engines, returning back towards LaGuardia.
The amygdala is automatically turned on, and so it starts pumping out these intense feelings of fear and anxiety. And what pilots train to do, and they train to do this in flight simulators, is how to keep a lid on those emotions, how to make sure those emotions don't get out of control until the fear doesn't turn into panic.
Bird strike, he lost all engine, he lost the thrust in the engines, he's returning immediately.
Cactus 1529, which engines?
He lost thrust in both engines, he said.
Got it.
What they practice is the ability to think through those feelings, and that requires the prefrontal cortex, this uniquely human brain area. And so in the case of Captain Sullenberger, what that allowed him to do was to take a deep breath, to realize his fear wasn't going to save him, that his fear wasn't useful. So instead what he had to do was look at his airspeed indicator, his altitude, look how far away the runway in Teterboro, New Jersey was, or whether or not he could return to LaGuardia, and realize that the best decision he could make at that moment was to land on the Hudson. So that was very much a rational decision. In many respects, the brain is like a Swiss Army knife. It's stuffed full of all these different tools, these different ways of thinking. We can rely on the amygdala or the nucleus accumbens or the prefrontal cortex. And by using metacognition, we can really tailor this thought process to the task at hand. So, in a sense, learning about how we think can allow us to think better.
Okay.
All right, guys, Morgan's not feeling well. She's got a sore throat. We need to think of some alternative ways to treat this.
Well, maybe we need to take her to the doctor.
Or we could just use Tylenol.
I think maybe we let nature run its course. Let's look in her throat, figure out what we need to do. Open up, Morgan. Ooh, maybe we need to take her to the doctor once you look at it, Kara.
Oh, I think we should probably take her to the doctor.
Let me see, Morgan. Yeah, I'm right. She needs to go to the doctor. Why don't you have Brad look at you?
Yeah, definitely needs to go to the doctor.
Okay. Well, Morgan, I think we're going to have to go to the doctor. We all agree.
No.
So, what are some of the worst biases? I'll name 4 important ones. First, optimism bias means we systematically overestimate the likelihood that our decisions will produce good results and underestimate the probability things will go badly. We ignore the possibility of unforeseen consequences. Second, confirmation bias means we tend to look for and accept any new evidence that favors our pre-existing current opinions, and we ignore, reject, or are suspicious of evidence that undermines our current opinions. Third, in-group bias means we're prone to treat political disagreements as battles between rival teams. We're biased to believe that anything our team does, no matter how bad, is good just because our team does it. We're biased to believe that the other team is bad no matter what they do. We're quick
It's gonna cost you $5,011.
Here's my card.
I don't know why you drive this piece of shit.
You're so stuck up.
Utilitarianism is the idea that what makes an action right or wrong is the extent to which it promotes or hinders welfare, well that means something like quality of life. Utilitarians disagree amongst themselves about how to fill in the details of this, so really utilitarianism refers to a broad family of views rather than to a single doctrine. One of the appealing features of utilitarianism is that it seems capable of explaining at least some of our ordinary ethical ideas. For example, it seems to explain why it's usually right to keep a sincere promise, but occasionally wrong in unusual circumstances. However, critics of utilitarianism complain that it fails to vindicate enough of our ordinary ethical ideas. For example, they say that it cannot explain why it would always be wrong to permit slavery, since we could imagine very unusual circumstances in which permitting it promoted welfare. Another go.
Welcome to Ethical Decision Making. I'm your host, Stu Barker. Today we'll be looking at 2 examples of ethical decision making. Yay! Let's take a look at the first example now. Miss Keller? Stop. In the following situation, do you 1. Change your grades, give yourself all A's. 2. Lower the grades of that kid you hate. Or 3. Do nothing, walk out of the room. The correct answer in this situation was 3. Do nothing, walk out of the room. But let's see what our subject Emmanuel does. And now for the second example. Yeah! What's this? Stop. In the following situation, do you 1. Quietly pocket the cash and walk away, or 2. Return it to its rightful owner, or 3. Follow the man who dropped it, looking for more cash that he might be dropping? The correct answer to this question was 3. Follow the man who dropped it. Whoops, my bad. The answer is 2, actually. Return it to its rightful owner. And now, for example number 3. Stop. In the following situation, do you 1. Copy all the answers of your friend, or 2. Don't do anything, take the failing grade you deserve, or 3. Draw funny pictures on your test paper? The correct answer is 2. Don't do anything, take the failing grade. This has been Ethical Decision Making. I'm your host, Stu Barker. Tune in next time as we explore I'm sorry I didn't mean it the way it sounded.
another action. All right, here we go. Here we go. Sir! Sir, you look like a gifted gentleman. Are you gifted?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. What's stopping you from making your gift more obvious?
I don't know.
Exactly. Here at Neurosis Now, we feel self-importance is the most important form of importance, and that the creative potential should be for everyone to indulge in, even this gentleman over here. That's why we came to Hardly Strictly, in the creative potential capital of the world, San Francisco. Okay, sir, we're both standing in line for the porta potty, and we were just talking, and we were getting into the fact that you have this great creative project that you haven't finished, and I have to ask you, why aren't you working on it?
I don't think the world is ready for my project.
You don't think the world is ready for your full creative potential?
That's specifically what I'm saying.
Okay, for sure. But what if I promised you that no matter what I actually thought, if you shared that on my Facebook page, I would like it? Would that motivate you at all?
No, because I don't have a Facebook page.
Okay, then I really don't know how I can help you then. I tried my best. I wish you the best. But right. I think you should get a Facebook though. I think that'd help. Ladies, you look like creative people. And I know one of the biggest obstacles in taking on a creative endeavor is the question of whether it's good. And I just wanted to ask you guys, think about your parents. Did they mean to have you?
Yes.
You don't know that for sure.
We have the same parents.
You can't know that for sure. And the point is, some of the most beautiful works of art are made by mistake.
Here's a mistake.
I'm not one of those mistakes.
You can't know that for sure. There's no way.
I know that.
There's no way. Like, I'm trying to prove a point. I'm trying to. No.
See, my name is.
You guys can't know that for sure.